Alright guys, welcome back to another Destiny 2 video today. On the heels of my last, maybe you could consider it a bit ranty, maybe moderately negative, sharing my thoughts on Destiny 2, we are back to doing what I enjoy the most. So negativity out the window, criticism out the window, we are jumping back in, and yeah, I decided, new season, let's pop on a new outfit. So I got the painted kitsune predominantly, but I did pair it with a couple other different skins that I think look a little bit better. But today we are jumping back into a new build. This is one that if you've never used, I think you will find it's really quite fun. This is a build that can work extremely well both in PvP as well as PvE. And it's going to focus on the synergies of two specific exotics, one weapon and one gauntlet, which I have on currently. So let's just jump into the basics. We're going to show you the build. The first thing is the no time to explain pulse rifle. So let's just open this up and show you what it's about. You'll see down at the bottom, rewind again, precision shots and shots against combatants that are slowed or frozen by stasis will return to the magazine. So maybe your gut reaction would be, oh, this is a kinetic pulse that you want to use on a stasis build. You certainly could, but for today's purposes, that's not what we're focusing on. We're jumping to the middle here. This is part of what makes this build so great. Time slip. At 10 stacks of rewind again, that's this down here, that little perk we were just talking about, a small portal will open, shooting bullets from an alternate timeline version of this weapon. Precision hits extend the portal's duration. That actually comes up quite quickly, so effectively we are just looking to get precision shots to proc the rewind again and keep landing precision shots as much as we possibly can. So that is the meat and potatoes of the gun side of the build. This is the rifle we want to be using, no time to explain. Then the second piece is quite an old exotic pair of gauntlets here, the Getaway Artist. You can indeed see that I haven't used this one in a while, but let's just pop on and show you what this is about if you're unaware. Dynamic duo down here, left bumper. Convert your arc grenade into an arc soul and become amplified. The arc soul functions as an autonomous turret. So effectively, it gives you an arc soul that pops up next to you, and it will do automatic fire on enemies. So that, if you can kind of see where we're going with this, in tandem with no time to explain, we're going to read about it again. At 10 stacks, a small portal will open, shooting bullets from an alternate timeline version of this weapon. Precision hits will extend that portal's duration. You effectively are going to be getting a turret when you proc rewind again. So we are stacking two turret functions on top of one another to make effectively a double turret. That is the meat and potatoes of this build. And of course over here you saw that consuming your arc grenade grants an arc soul and amplifies you. So what we're going to do, we're going to stick to our arc class. The arc grenade doesn't matter, so I picked the one with the quickest cooldown, the flashbang here. And then I also swapped out my aspect. I normally run this one here because I normally focus my arc build for jolting, and lightning surge is great for that. But over here you'll notice arc soul. This gives us an arc soul. Cast your rift to create an arc soul that fires a target in front of you. Allies can pass through, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't really matter. While amplified, your arc souls are supercharged and gain increased fire rate. Binds to long press on B. So you hold down B and that will get your arc soul out. So now we have two means of creating an arc soul. We have this, and we also have consuming our grenade. So two means of pulling up an arc soul on top of the portal open on no time to explain. We are going to be having turrets up constantly. That is the entire point of this build, is to get dual turrets as quickly as possible with as much uptime as possible. So for the purpose of the aspects, Arc Soul, that's the one you want. The fastest recharge grenade that we're going to be consuming, Flashbang. And then for the fragments, I do a slightly different setup on this than I normally do on most of my Arc builds. And that again is based on the fact that we're not actually using our grenades, we're just trying to absorb them. So Spark of Focus, after sprinting, your class ability regeneration is increased. So sprinting around is going to let us cast our Rift to get that Arc Soul back quicker. Over here, Spark of Discharge, Arc Weapon Final Blows have a chance to create an Ionic Trace. That's if we actually do need to swap to our Arc Weapon, and we could potentially get a Trace to throw energy back into our abilities. The next one over here, Spark of Ions, defeating a jolted target creates an Ionic Trace. We're leaving that one on, and then over here, Spark of Recharge. While critically wounded, your melee and grenade energy recharges more quickly. So we're just throwing in a couple other side perks to possibly get us more energy back on our abilities. You'll notice we're already at just a tick over a minute recharge on the grenade, so anything else that we do as well as our other mods on the rest of our gear is going to boost that up. So over here I've got an Arc Siphon and Hands On. If you need to know, that is super energy on melee kills bonus. Over here, Harmonic Rapid Arc Weapon, create an Orb of Power. That's not a come into play. Over here, I could just swap that off, honestly, to anything. Let's just boost super twice. And then we've got a Resilience mod. I could easily swap that out to Grenade to get this lowered even more. So Getaway Artist. So the three we have on here are Discipline mod plus 10. We've got Focusing Strike, so grants class ability when you cause damage with a melee, so getting our Rift back up quicker for our Arc Turret. And then finally Kinetic Loader, increase the reload speed of kinetic weapons, since No Time to Explain is indeed in the kinetic slot. On our robes, we've got again Discipline mod, get the grenades up quicker. Reinforcement, that's quality of life. That doesn't really matter, that slot, all that much. Reduces incoming flinch while firing with an arc weapon. I'm leaving that one on. It's not going to come into play all that often. And then the final one is just a doubling up. So if I need to swap over to my Brigand's Law, if somebody's running up on me, we may get that to proc. For our boots, we are going to leave another Resilience mod. Absolution, reduce all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb. The third, Orbs of Restoration, will give a small amount of energy to the ability with the least energy. That's probably going to be my Rift, or it's going to be my Grenade. And then here, Innervation, reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb. And then finally on our Bond, yet again another Resilience mod. Reaper, after using class ability, the next weapon Final Blow will spawn an Orb of Power. So getting more cooldowns by picking up those orbs. Bomber, of course, reduce grenade cooldown when we use our class abilities, so throw the Rift, get the cooldown on grenade. Then the last one, Explosive Finisher. Finishers will restore grenades. So if I actually do use a finisher on an enemy, we'll get that grenade recharge. So that is the setup, guys. That's the mods that I'm running. So today we are just going to pop over to the old Eternity, where there is plenty of mobs, and jump onto the Grasp of Avarice dungeon just in this beginning area, so we can kind of show you what this actually looks like in gameplay, in practice. How does this function? And I think you're going to like what you see. If you've never tried out this build, this is one that I highly recommend. It is the double turret build. Arc Soul time. Now we're looking for precision hits to get a portal open for double arc, double turrets. And you'll see that little black one down on the bottom left. That's the one from the gun. So I now have two turrets on at the same time. And the nice thing is it does not take that much to get the rewind portal one up because it is a pulse rifle. You're getting a lot of damage landed. And let's go ahead and absorb our grenade and get us the double turret yet again. And then we've got our rift up already to proc the next turret whenever we need it. Okay, so right now I've got them both up. Let me just jump over here. You'll see I'm not even pulling my trigger. Everything is just getting mowed down by my dual turrets. So yeah, guys, I think that this build speaks for itself. Of course, once you have the catalyst on this gun, which I don't quite have it, I've done a decent bit of work but haven't gotten it, it does extend the duration of rewind again, so you can get even more value out of it. But guys, that is the build. Definitely well worth testing out if you've never tried it. No time to explain if you don't have it. I believe you can grab it from the kiosk, the exotic weapons kiosk at the tower. If you don't have it, if so, if you're not sure, just check your collections. Hit start, scroll over. It's in the exotics in the kinetics spot. Gosh, where is it? I think it's on page 2. No time to explain. Right there. Ought to be sitting right there on your list. And that's where you can pick it back up, cheap to pick up. And then, of course, the old Getaway Artist gauntlets. Those two in tandem on your arc build with your fastest nade and the mod and aspect setup. It's a really fun build, guys. And yeah, this is one that absolutely can dual purpose. This works really great in PvE. It also is actually quite amusing in PvP because this is a pretty solid pulse rifle on its own. And then the side perk gets really, really nice. So once you get that up and then you proc in tandem with your glove, you come around a corner. I mean, it's game over. It's a really, really fun build, guys. The double turret Warlock build, absolute classic. Guys, I hope you got some value out of that. Certainly, if you have questions for me, thoughts, considerations, throw them down in the comments section on the video. But as always, I appreciate you checking in, and we will catch you on the next one.